years to the day after LBJ launched his war on poverty. President Obama takes that on. Mr. Obama will announce the so-called promise zones, where the federal government will provide tax incentives and other assistance for some of America's poorest communities, where past efforts to eradicate the worst pockets of poverty simply failed. Chris Steyerwalt, Fox Digital politics editor and host of Power Play. Chris, how are you? Good morning to you. So you say two topics merge here. In what sense?
Well, in this sense, the president would very much like to change the discussion to what he says is a Republican cruelty or resistance to helping those in need, whether it's extending emergency unemployment benefits into a fifth year, or whether it is his call for these promise zones or anything else. And Democrats are heartened. They say he's got the bully pulpit and he can push hard on these issues and change the narrative for the 2014 election. But think about this, Brother Hemmer. A president who is now the author of the most famous unkept, probably not meant to be kept, promise in presidential history, the "if you like it, you can keep it" promise. Is that a guy that the American people are ready to listen to on a promise zone? Are the American people ready to listen to somebody who, Robert Gates says, put policy or put politics in front of policy? This is an administration suffering a crisis of confidence with the American people, and a bully pulpit is only as effective as the preacher who's in it.
Yeah, it sounds kind of like Jack Kemp's idea from 25 years ago. I mean, they kind of overlap a little bit here too, right? I mean, going into inner cities and trying to help people and give them tax incentive to do it. Am I wrong or not?
There's tax incentive and then there's tax incentive. Is it, do you pay no taxes or do you get free money? Those are two different things. In Washington now.
And that is a fine distinction, because you look at the food stamp program now. You look at 2008, 28 million Americans were on food stamps. 5 years later, that's gone up 19 million to 47 million Americans.
Well, the point of view of this administration is that that is, in part, a good thing, because more people who need the help are getting it. Much as they point to the enrollment of some 5 million human beings onto a welfare program, Medicaid, they think that it's good when more people are enrolling in these welfare programs. For many Americans, however, they think that is a hallmark of failure. They think that is a sign that things are going the wrong way. But for the administration, they think this is a good thing because they're getting more money out there. This is a president, Bill, don't forget, who said that unemployment payments, that welfare payments to unemployed people create jobs.
Oh. Now the issue of the economy. I mean, we've been 60 months at 7% unemployment or higher. Now, this is something that came up yesterday at the briefing. Here's Ed Henry talking to Jay Carney.
But he's now had 5 years. Does he bear some responsibility for long-term unemployment?
The president believes that everyone who's sent to Washington by their representatives bears responsibility for taking action to help the economy and help the American people.
Well, now, you know that question will continue to come up, Chris.
Well, sure.
And how do they handle it?
The narrative from the Obama administration is that the president is a victim of 40 years of policy failure, Republican and Democratic alike, that leads to this moment in which people can't get good jobs, the economy has essentially failed, and so that people need to recognize that it's not really his fault. But that's not the way politics works, and that's sure not the way politics is going to work for vulnerable Senate Democrats, maybe 10 or 12 of them, who are facing a Republican onslaught this year that is pumped up by public frustrations over Obamacare. So it's not likely that they're going to be able to get this narrative that it wasn't us to stick.
Listen, eventually you own it, right?
Right. That's the deal.
The calendar says 5.5 years. Hang that sign. All right, Chris, we'll see you a little later, okay? Brother Chris, Brother Hemmer, checking out here. Visit the politics page and sign up for Chris's daily politics newsletter at foxnews.com/FoxNewsFirst. Just enter your email right there and you'll get it. Thank you, Chris.